Hi guys, so today I'm looking back at some of the old obstacle designs I have for the Obstacle Design Challenge of American Ninja Warrior, and basically telling you how they would have worked, telling you why ATS probably didn't want to choose them, and basically explaining what they look like and how to design them. So I hope you enjoy. Alright, so first up is Hammock Hill. This obstacle was the first one I planned alongside the next one I'm going to show you, and that was summer 2016, right after they announced it on one of the Ninja episodes that year. And I actually had some beginner's luck with this one because it made like the editor's pick list, it was called, and that's where they chose like the top 10 obstacles that they wanted to build. So I was excited about that. They never actually built it, but I was happy to make that list because I never made that list on any of the other ideas. But it's pretty simple. Like you see, it's basically 4 hammocks. The contestant starts on the platform and runs across them, and each hammock's a foot above the other, and then a 2-foot drop to the landing platform. And I thought this would be good because it would add some like originality to the balance obstacle, which is often, especially these days, it's often running straight across without stopping, which is good. But I just wanted to mix it up with letting people either run or they could slowly cross it or whatever they had to do to get across, which is good for variety, and that's basically my thinking behind it. But this is kind of similar to like the coin flip diamond dash obstacle, so at least I got that, I guess. But yeah, I'll take it. Oh, the swivel cliffs. This was the first upper body obstacle I designed. And the contestant basically had to hang from the ledge like a normal cliffhanger, but instead of transitioning from a bunch of ledges, they just had to hang on to the one and slide it along like a curved track on the apparatus of the cliffhanger, and have to get it from the first point to the end. And I thought this was a good idea because it's going to test not only their grip, but also their like a different type of technique than the usual cliffhanger, because it would require them to jerk the ledge across like the track, and that's just a different movement to go along with the cliffhanger. And I would make this like the Sasuke ledges, not the 3-inch ANW ledge sort of situation. But when I first saw the nail clipper in Cleveland, I was thinking it was a different version of my obstacle for some reason. I don't know why, but I told everyone like, oh, my obstacle will be on Ninja Warrior. Then I was watching the episode in August that year, and I was in Arizona, but I remember texting my family like, oh, my obstacles will be on tonight. Then they showed a picture of the kid that made it, and it was like a kid my age, but different looking, and it wasn't my name, so that was awkward. But the nail clippers go obstacle, but that was surprising for me. Alright, the next one is the saloon doors. I got this idea because I thought it'd be a good balance, kind of like the first one. I thought it'd be a good change for balance obstacles, I guess. And it's basically like those saloon doors that you walk through, but you have to walk on top of them. So you have to look out for the swinging element, and then in the middle they curve upward. And then there's the transition between the two like sides of the door. So I think with the swing, that'd be a pretty good challenge, while not being like a deadly obstacle, but I think it would be pretty hard. And I think it would, once again be a good like change from the usual balance obstacle. But I could see that the falls would be painful on it, so I guess I see that could be why they didn't use it, and because it wasn't that original. But so I think it was an okay idea I got when I was in one of the restaurants in Arizona, but it probably needed to have more thought put into it to work out. So okay, so the next one is the pipeline. This obstacle, I kind of thought of it as like a combination of the pipe fitter and the ring jump, I guess. And the goal was to like combine the challenges of both and make a pretty tough 5th obstacle, I guess. And so they'd have to hop the ring up the first pipe using spikes as like rungs to get up there. You have to hop over just like the ring jump. And then at the top you would have to grab the 2 rings and work across the horizontal pipe, and then you have to go back down the last pipe. Now, I don't know why I drew the spikes like within the pipe, because that doesn't make sense, but they'd be above the pipe in real life, so that they could be used as like stoppers. But yeah, I also don't know why I put the middle pipe red, or if that meant anything, or if it's just design. It has been like 3 years, but I think this would be a good obstacle overall because it's a combination of two decent obstacles that probably shouldn't appear again, but would be okay together, and it would make a nice change, I guess. Alright, so this next obstacle is another one that I wanted to be ninth in like a regionals final round, I think, and it's called a side switch. So it kind of takes a movement from the nail clipper, but I made this before the nail clipper, so I can't steal it. But it's kind of you have to grab onto the pegs at the start, then you have to reach under the board and put the peg on the other side of it, so that you can be able to reach the second part, which has cliffhanger ledges. And again, you have to grab onto the front side and then work under it and grab the ledges on the back side. I make them about like 1 inch to, anything thinner would be a bit hard, but I don't want it to be too wide either again. And then you have to transition to the final part, which has the ring toss idea. And you just take the ring and swing underneath it and put it on the other side. And then from that part, you can dismount. Now, with this one, I would prevent early dismounting just because one of the main challenges of the obstacle would be the ring transition. I don't like to add all the extra rules to it, but I think it would work best for this one. And I think this would work pretty well, but they don't often bring back a lot of tough obstacles and put them into one, so that could be a flaw with this one. So yeah. Alright, so next obstacle is actually an idea for a salmon ladder replacement. So it'll be 7th in the regional finals rounds. Either they could do a different one every episode, or they could use this for the whole season, I guess. And it's kind of a ladder, but the contestant has to jump on and then grab these two horseshoes, which are on pegs, and then they have to, using the handhold part of the horseshoe, they have to work their way up the rungs on either side, and they gotta be careful because if they put the wrong part on, then it'll be the gap between the gap of the horseshoe, and they'll fall to the water. So they have to have good grip, but they also have to have good control of the parts. And then once they get to the top, the 6th rung, they have to transition the horseshoes to the track that's going downward, and then they have to dismount onto the platform. So it's kind of like the Sasuke stick slider, because it's like getting off salmon ladder, I guess. But it's a good combo, and it would just change the format of the region. But at this point, I'm pretty sure they're not going to ever get rid of the salmon ladder in that spot, so that's the main reason this wouldn't work. And it would also probably be dangerous to have those pegs that people could fall back down onto. So I really don't expect this one's ever going to come or anything like it. Okay, so this obstacle, I don't know where I would place it, or if I even had an idea when I made it. But it's called the pulley rings. And the main function of the obstacle is kind of like the chain seesaw from Sasuke 27, because the contestants have to grab onto the first set of rings. They have to grab onto the ring simultaneously, or else, because they're on a pulley on either side. So if they grab one side before the other, they're gonna, it's gonna lower down and they're gonna fall off. So they have to be very fluid with that movement to grab the first one. Then they have to make the 8-foot jump to the second set of rings, and again, it's on a pulley, so they have to be careful. Then they have to swing 5 feet to the last bar and then dismount to the platform, which is off screen. But this is definitely not scale, because the 8-foot jump is a lot smaller than the 5 feet ones, but I think it would be a good idea for an obstacle. And I like the chain seesaw, and I think this would be more likely to be chosen because nunchucks would make this one pretty hard. But I could see us being in maybe Vegas stage 2 after salmon ladder, but I'm really not sure where it would be. But I'd like to see it. Alright, so aside from being cut off, the next idea is low row. My goal here was to make an obstacle that's really hard for the taller competitors by having the grips that you see in the picture be only 3 feet above the water. So everyone would have to keep their legs up a lot, but the taller competitors would have to have a lot more core control to not drag their feet in the water or whatever. So I thought this would be an interesting one, just be different, and they have to go across the trapeze and then the rings and then dismount onto a slope platform. And I remember when I made it, I wanted it to be after a salmon ladder in Vegas. I don't know how that would work because the salmon ladder is like 20 feet high and then you're 3 feet on the ground, but maybe they could do the downward salmon ladder from Sasuke. I don't know. But that was my goal with it. Now, what I didn't think of is that 3 feet is probably way too low, and 5 feet would probably be better, or 5 or 6. Because, you're hanging with your arms, so you're a lot lower than you would be. So I'd say 5 feet would be the best for it now if I had to redo the idea. And I also say that I realize most of the good ninjas are pretty short to begin with. So maybe the height isn't even necessary to challenge. But I thought it'd be a different idea. I still like to see it sometime, I guess. Okay, I really wish this one had a title because I honestly don't remember what it is. It looks like fingernails to me, honestly, but it looks like the dancing stones to me. So I don't know what I was thinking, but maybe I kind of remember like designing a surfboard obstacle where the platforms are like wobbly and you have to try to walk across the middle of the pedestals to make it across. So that's my best guess what I was doing here, but I honestly have no idea what it was because I made this in 2016 and I don't think I ever submitted it, so I just don't have a good idea of what it was. But I probably would have had it third in a regional just because that's one of the only balance obstacles on Ninja. And I guess it would be some kind of wobbly platform, but I don't know much about this. Hey, I actually know this one. So this is the spider slider, and it would be like a second obstacle in the regionals, I guess. And the contestant had to go down the track by holding on to 2 nunchucks and going through 2 drops. But the main thing is that they have to transition from that into a set of spider walls, probably like a 5-foot gap to reach the walls, and then just jump off onto the platform. So the main challenge would be getting from the nunchucks to the wall and sticking inside of them without missing. And I think this would be a really tough obstacle depending on how narrow the walls are and how far away they are, and whether people can reach out from the nunchucks and climb in, or if they have to do it in one whole motion. But either way, I think this obstacle would be really tough. It would probably get at least half the people out, so maybe it wouldn't work well in regionals, but I could see it as like a ending to Stage 3 of Vegas. I mean, it's not very similar to the flying bar, but it'd be exciting, I think. And you wouldn't have to see it that much, so that's probably good. But I'd like to see this at some point. I think it would look good on some kind of course somewhere, but I don't know when. Alright, so this one's the bungee bounce. Now, I don't really know what I was thinking when I made this. I made it pretty recently, but I don't know why I wanted this. But it's basically bringing back the bungees, which is good. And you gotta climb up. I think it's like 2 bungees side by side, but since it's a side view, you can't see that. So the contestant climbs up with the sets of bungees that they have. Then they make it to the top, and I guess they have to be facing forward. They have to drop down into that trampoline, then bounce back up to the top of the second set of bungees. I mean, it's not bad, I guess, but I don't think it would work as well as I thought, because first of all, it has that trampoline thing that I'm sick of, and also it would be a lot of contestants not grabbing the top, and some people might jump from the trampoline into the straight to the platform or into the second board. So I think this is a bad idea, and I'm glad Ninja didn't like it either, I guess, because it won't work. Alright, so this one looks tough, and I think too tough. But it's called the spin steps, and it basically starts and ends like the devil steps with 5 steps up and then 5 steps down. But the main thing is that in between, you have a wheel, kind of like the wheel for Rolling Thunder, and it's on the track, no drops or anything, but it's on the track, and the contestant has to hang on to like flat steps and keep climbing backwards and grabbing the steps to roll the wheel. So very much like Rolling Thunder, but you have to grab onto like ledges instead, and I think that would be really tough and have some precision too, because you have to grab like a moving target. And I could see this as a 5th obstacle, but I don't know. If the track was short enough, it could work, but I think it would be too brutal probably. But it'd be interesting. But I think I had I set my expectation level too high when I designed this, but it could be interesting. Okay, so next up, this is kind of random, but it's the Swiss switch. It kind of like simple because you just have it's just a grip test, and you're basically hanging underneath these horizontal boards that have holes in them, and you gotta swing across them, kind of like monkey bars, but you have to grab onto the side of the holes and work your way across. So think the position of the circuit board, oh, or the steel bridge, like it says there. But think of it like that, but you're using the holes, and the holes are a lot bigger, but that sort of thing. And so you have to go up at first, up two, and then you have to, I guess you have to drop down to the last set, and then work down a slope to the platform. And I think it's gonna be decent, but it would look better themed, but it wouldn't really fit with, having yellow boards wouldn't really fit with the show. But then they did the coconut climb, so I don't know if they would or not, but it would be okay, but probably not the best either. Okay, so this looks like more cheese, but it's actually like, I think I call it the pegboard puzzle, and it's basically a pegboard but with 3 different sets of pegs. There's a triangle one, the circle one, and the square one, and so it's kind of like circuit board in that it's a mental challenge as you do it, figuring out which peg goes where and how to efficiently do that. And I just shape the things like puzzle pieces because if it goes with the theme, I guess. But this would be really tough, and I don't think it'll work on Ninja unless it was like maybe a 3-board version instead of the 5. But I think this would be pretty too demanding on anyone. But I would like to see it and see it done somewhere at least. Alright, so this one's called the sliding pegboard, and honestly, I only made it like 2 years ago, but it looks really bad to me right now, and I just don't think it'll work well because you have to go across the pegboard and try and move the boards across the track, but trying to move along while you're holding onto the pegs and trying not to have the pegs fall out of the holes, I don't think it would be a good idea. I think it would just be stupid, and it would be kind of like the Angry Birds because everyone would just be falling for a dumb reason. I don't want another Angry Birds for sure, so I say it wouldn't work there, and it probably wouldn't work in any kind of ninja gym because it'd be too dangerous with that, but that's my idea. I don't know why I made it though. Alright, so last up is the Ninja Stars. Now this one is pretty much just like the spinning bow ties, because you have to swing on like a shape, and just grab on a trapeze bar in a shape and swing from thing to thing. But there's 3 of them, and it's uphill, and they start on like an angle, so I think it'll be slightly more interesting than that. And I wanted to use the play on words Ninja Star, but I thought about Shooting Star too, but Ninja Star is more appropriate, and I liked it. So that's about it. But thank you for watching. I know the voiceover has been rough, I know, but this is the closest I get to seeing new obstacle ideas this summer with Ninja, so I enjoyed looking back at the old obstacles at least, and I hope you enjoyed some of the ideas. And thank you for surviving the voiceover, and if you have anything to say, put a comment. It can be good or bad. It's fine either way, and thank you for watching, and stay safe.